All right, so this one is Dr. Umar defends Beyonce over the CMA snub. So Dr. Umar recently sat down with Dialogue, and he had this to say about Beyonce not getting any CMA nods.
The Country Music Awards Association should be absolutely embarrassed that they resulted to that form of racism. Cowboy Carter came in as the highest debuted country album for a female artist ever. It was #1 on the country music Billboard chart for 2 weeks. She got more first day streams than any artist in Amazon Music history. She was among the top artists for first day streams in Spotify history. She broke about 5 records with the Cowboy Carter album. 13 of the songs on the Cowboy Carter album made their way to the Billboard 100, and she doesn't get a single nomination. How do you explain that, Art? You can't explain it. The only the only way you can explain it is to say what we all know. White people are racist, and they decided to gatekeep country music from blacks.
A whole lot of yous.
Well,
that's what he's saying.
Hey,
the whole lot of yous.
Now, Dr. Umar can be Dr. Umar. He does a lot of Dr. Umar things, and we have to hold Dr. Umar accountable when he's Dr. Umar, right? Or he's Dr. Umaring. But he dropped a lot of facts. Statistically, stat-wise, you can't dispute anything that he just said as it relates to the stats for that record.
No, he was absolutely spitting on that one.
That's all. That's what jumps out to me. It's all facts.
And this is the thing. I don't want this to be the case, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Shabuzi and the, you know, like, so here it is. I'm not sure what he was nominated for, or if he was nominated, you know, because like I said, honestly, I don't really care. But it's like he's had the #1 song, Billboard song, not just country song. I guess we're going on about 14 weeks now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, okay, what I think what they'll mess around and do is give him a bunch of awards to say that they didn't have something against Beyonce. Or like the same way they'll give, you know, because there are some other black country artists who are doing their thing right now. Shout out to Kane Brown.
Well, if you give it to
been
one,
doing this thing for years.
But if you give it to one black country artist, then it takes away from everything else.
Yeah, but
covers everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And see, I think that's where. Look, also, let's just be real. There's, you know, people say, oh, Beyonce did this song or did this album because she didn't feel like she got a certain level of acknowledgement when she performed at the Country Music Awards. You know, I guess I remember this is why I said Donald Trump was going to win, because when she performed in like 2016 was, and I was like, and then they had to turn the comments off on their website because there was so much racism coming towards. And I said, yes, that's about Beyonce being black, but it's also the fact that she came out with the Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks. And you got to remember, the country music artists, the country music audience does not care for the Chicks because of what they said about George Bush and, you know, George W. Bush, like maybe 10, 12 years ago, but they have long memories and don't care about your activism because at the same time, you know, they also saw Beyonce singing for President Obama. They also know that, you know, if you do a deep dive, you'll find out her and Jay-Z were bailing protesters, you know, out of jail. That doesn't align with anything that the people at the Country Music Awards want to promote or want to embrace. So this isn't really much as a surprise to me. Like, she'll get the Country Music Awards maybe from when it's time for Billboard, because Billboard works off of raw numbers. Okay, they don't work off of like people's opinions and biases. Because like whenever you see an American Music Awards or Billboard Awards, or I guess iHeart Awards, those are all industry awards based on the tabulations of record sales, streams, and radio play. All right. When you talk about the Grammys, you talk about, you know, I guess the CMAs, country music. That's about people's agendas. That is about people's feelings. So I'm not surprised at this. You know, I don't know what she thought was coming or how she was going to come in here and dominate the Country Music Awards. They don't want her there.
I didn't even see anything about this or her even say anything about it. Dr. Umar is the first person I've even seen reference or talk about it. So
No, I saw
hasn't said anything personally. I think it was more so people speaking out on her behalf.
On her behalf,
Right.
yeah.
Her mom had said something because they had asked Dolly Parton a few questions about the situation. She was saying that, well, although she thought Beyonce's album was very well, and this is not a direct quote. She was saying that there's other artists that she feel like they probably put in the categories because they do the country music every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the
I can see that.
pushback on that was, okay, they do it every year, but was their music better than what Beyonce submitted?
right.
And at the end of the day, if you can't say no, then you can't really use that as an argument either.
Yeah. It's not a
But
good
I mean,
rebuttal.
we've been here before with the Country Music Awards. They didn't want to let Lil Nas X perform,
True.
but he brought in what's his name? Not Miley Cyrus' daddy. Was it Miley Cyrus?
Yeah.
Billy Ray
Yeah,
Cyrus.
for the remix, and that was his end.
Bada boom, bada bing.
But Beyonce is Beyonce, and I think she's figuring that, my name speaks for itself. I should be let in here, but you were proven, you were corrected.
Dr. Umar was dropping game.
I mean, like he broke
I
it
give
down
him
from a numbers perspective, and when you realize that this record industry isn't really about who did the best, this, that, and the third, it is about numbers. And when you see that Beyonce did the numbers, when you see that like I like what's the song? This ain't Texas.
Yeah.
Whatever, I can't now. It's messed up. I can't remember the name of the song, but I like that
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. I like that song as much as I like any Beyonce song that she's put out in the last 15 years. I like the song she did with Miley Cyrus about My Ride or Die. I like that song. Those are two of my favorite Beyonce songs of all time.
Well,
what is that? But that don't mean nothing to the people at the Country Music Awards.
Not me.
So
But yeah.
All right.
it is what it is.
Shout out
But
to
we
Beyonce.
shouldn't know. It's Beyonce. You shouldn't be surprised.
yep.
Shout out to Dr. Umar. Like, if I don't agree with him on nothing else, I agree with him here.
No, he
Nah, he was on
he
point.
cooking on that one.
Yep.